The reality is that the armed opposition, they have chosen 95% Christian residencies to come and fight there. And from there, they want to make a war.
Why isn't the UN monitors reporting this then?
I know that since the beginning of this conflict, there is a disequilibrium between among the media information.
Obama's tears were touching, and I wasn't going to say this until I saw reaction from people across the globe outside of America. No tears for the millions of displaced citizens from countries you've destroyed. Where are the tears for all the innocent people who died because of U.S. interventions in peaceful countries?
For example, you have 80,000 of Christian inhabitants only of Bab Bustan Diwan and Hamidiyya Square. They fled, and their houses were completely ravaged by militias. Nobody spoke about it. 80,000, it's something.
Christians were in Syria long before the Muslim religion even began. The first churches formed in Damascus almost 2,000 years ago. Now they are a minority, about 2 million in Syria, roughly 10% of the population. And with a fast rising death toll, more than 1,000 so far. 200,000 more have fled the country.
They killed him because he's Christian. They refused to have any Christian in Syria.
In a frightening turn of this war, Christians say they are targets of Muslim extremists who have joined the rebels. And targets because they sided with President Bashar al-Assad, who promised to protect them.
I'm not afraid. My uncle died. He's immortal now. I can be like him.
A checkpoint in the predominantly Christian town Sednaya, but this isn't a government outpost. It's manned by a local Christian militia loyal to the Assad regime. None of the men would speak to us on camera, afraid they'll become targets for the opposition.
The militia has several checkpoints throughout the town of Sednaya, but they also have several hundred men under arms who patrol the streets here to make sure that no militants infiltrate this fairly safe area.
Hussam Azar organizes the group. Driving through Sednaya streets, he tells me he can't imagine Syria without Bashar al-Assad. I don't know why, but we love the president very much, he says. We love him a lot. Sure, there have been mistakes, but we love the president a lot. Christians make up about 10% of Syria's population. So far, most of them have not joined the uprising against the Assad regime, wary of Islamist militants within the ranks of the opposition.
So this is what hit.
Yes, these pieces.
Out here, shrapnel hit Father Fadi's church after mortar explosions that killed two. If the regime loses, aren't you afraid that many Christians will be killed, massacred, basically?
Yeah, it will be.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they don't want us here.
So they pray that this war will spare their community, their centuries of heritage, and now their very lives. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Damascus.
There are 44 churches in Sednaya. The town is a center of pilgrimage for Christians from around the world. But standing on a hilltop, Hussam points to nearby towns he says have opposition fighters in them, some of them radical Islamists who have fired mortars at Sednaya and even kidnapped people from here. And so the Christian militia members man their checkpoints and patrol the streets, fearful the opposition might try to oust them from their homeland should they prevail.